name's Elisha Guidry. I just graduated from UCLA. I'm about to transfer to San Jose State and do a master's program there, but I spent the past 4 years at UCLA. I was an economics major, but I just graduated this past June. I just read the description, and it was talking about organizing in the Black community and doing things of that nature. And that's something that interests me, myself being an organizer in college sports and doing stuff with that. I just thought it would be cool to learn from other organizers as well as learn from the professors and take some of the stuff that I learned and be able to pass it along. I say like one of my biggest takeaways was when you organize, you got to build that community, and that can be done like for just, just showing up and being there for people as well as having fun events. But it's really like spending time and building trust and having each other's back. That's probably one of the most important things for organizing, because at the end of the day, like in sports, you're a team, you're going against opposition and you're trying to, pursue an objective. So it's kind of a team effort. You got to be able to rely on others. And the best way to do that is just spending time and being able to trust each other and building that companionship. So that was one of the biggest takeaways I had. I say one of the probably the funnest day that we had was, it was on a Saturday. We had a bus tour through LA with the professor. We went somewhere on Skid Row. I don't have the specifics, but we just went to a bunch of historic spots in LA. And it was cool just because like I lived in the Long Beach area, but I would always come to LA just because of family. But I really had never been to some of those spots and really wasn't able to learn all the history until Professor Keeley educated us on a lot of those things. So it was just cool to hear from him, and then just to see and talk with the other professors outside of a class setting and kind of hear them, like, how they applied the stuff that we learned in class. So that was a really fun day with the professors, and kind of like a field trip that we used to take when we were kids, but it was also very informative. So it was a great day. In person, I feel like it was like, and again, one of the other highlights, just because like it's like a different vibe when you're together in the same room, face to face, and you're speaking, on your experiences, because that's kind of what we did the one day that we had that in-person class. I was able to go, and it was a fun time, just real refreshing, being able to meet everyone in person and share with each other and kind of build those relationships from the start. We didn't end up having another in-person class just because of how the logistics worked out and everything, but it would have been cool if the whole quarter was in person. We were able to do everything that we did in person. It was still great, like being online. They made it work, and it was good because I know some of the speakers that we had, it probably would have been hard to get them all in person. So that was a good part, because we had some great speakers, but being in person with your classmates, and like I said earlier, building that companionship and community, it would have been cool to have. So I feel like that was one of the challenges. It kind of really opened my eyes to more of the issues that Black workers go through, especially for, at least in my case, we had a group project. Everyone had a weekly project, but my weekly project was one of the weeks, and I had to research A. Philip Randolph. And it was just interesting because I feel like when we learn about the civil rights movement, it's really more about, okay, like desegregation and having some of those shared spaces desegregated, like restaurants and schools and stuff like that. I feel like they don't really touch a lot on labor movements in the Black community and rights for Black workers, rights for Black people in the military. That's not really touched on unless you're into more detail. So that was something that was cool that I was really able to open my eyes to, just researching that and watching the documentary on that. So I feel like this class just kind of opened up more of the issues that Black workers face, because you think, you know, people always say capitalism, there's no color, but in reality, capitalism is our racism and capitalism are tied closely together. So it was just cool, like being able to learn about that and really see it throughout history. I'll just say like give it a shot, um, and apply yourself to it, and like you'll learn a lot. I mean, this was like my last quarter, so it was cool like being able to leave UCLA with like everything I learned from this class and meeting all the professors and just having that experience and learning about Black history through labor movements, as well as you know, all the other stuff that we learned about organizing, just so you can take it back to your communities and, you know, build up so we can build ourselves up as a people. Because I mean, we know no one really is going to advocate for the Black community except for the Black community. So we kind of gotta, you know, we gotta start with ourselves and learning these skills. We'll be able to lift each other up, and that'll be able to lift everybody up, especially within the working class, where there's a lot of people of color that we could, you know, help liberate and uh, help be able to earn more, you know, for the working class with unions and better benefits and things like that. So I would just say, you know, give it a shot. You'll learn a lot, even if like you're kind of on the fence about it. I feel like the stuff that you learn and the person you become after you take the class is really worth it in the long run. So that's what I would say.